Baltimore's sharp increase in youth gun violence is due in part to car break-ins. That's according to experts at Johns Hopkins University. As I-Team reporter Tali Taylor reports, this is due in part to a domino effect triggered by a Supreme Court ruling over concealed carry laws.
Guys, the mayor's order on youth violence is directed toward DYRS. This is the Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services, the agency that is tasked with caring for juveniles going through DC's court system. So this mayor's order would make it easier for DYRS to procure more beds to hold juveniles. This order recognizing the increase in both youths committing violent crime in the district and also becoming victims to it.
Juveniles increasingly at the center of many of those high-profile crimes. The community demanding answers from city leaders about how they plan to stop all of this.
Men must recognize what they are. When I say men must recognize what they are, men are inventors, men are builders, men are planners, men are architects and engineers in spirit. And whenever there's no vision, all of those things that we are, we're builders, we're architects, we're designers, we cultivate, we build. Those things are in all men. But whenever we cannot exercise those things that are just bubbling to get out, where there's no vision, where you can't make it happen, it makes the mind sick. So that's what drives the whole thing, the violence. And that's when we end up turning on each other. We're like, look, I can't get these dreams off. I see everybody else on TV. I see Esau, this and that and the other. We envy the foolish, those kinds of things. But now when we want to do something, we can't get it done.
What we're going to be discussing is serious issues in our area. And we want to have serious conversations with serious individuals that are about solving the problems. You know, last week, Friday, and I want to bring this up, we had 5 kids get shot at a senior skip day. And what we're going to discuss, the issues that we're going to discuss, they're not prevalent in any other community. So the solutions that are going to be required are going to be different because we have a different set of problems in our community. And that's why we want you brothers and sisters to hear, and we want to have adult conversations and serious dialogue, not just to be in here talking, but really getting down and understanding, why do we do these things? Why do our young men, now women, act out in a violent fashion? So this youth, it used to be synonymous with the young men, youth violence, but now what we're seeing, particularly in this area, that our sisters and now young sisters are partaking in the same thing.
All praise to the Most High, all glory to the Lord and His Son, Jesus Christ. I was on my lunch break. I went to Starbucks like I always do, and I was on my way back, and I heard on the radio that a church was having it was a church or something, they was having a Stop the Violence rally or something like that. They was having a Stop the Violence block party or something like that. You know, so they was inviting everybody out. They was gonna give book bags and stuff like that away. And I heard it, and I said, we should do that. But we should do it from a biblical standpoint, obviously, which is what Israel United in Christ does. So I immediately called Captain Hoshea and asked him what he thought about it. Because usually when I have an idea, I call Cap, because I know he's gonna tell me if it's BS or if it's something good. So when I called him, he said it sounded like you talking about conflict resolution. And I said, that's it right there. Youth violence and conflict resolution. And then after that, I called Bishop Yawasop and I said, Bishop, what you think about this youth violence and conflict resolution? And he liked the initiative, and he said, make it happen. Let's see what happens. So we had our first one in Jackson, Mississippi. And I always tell the story, it wasn't that many people there. It was basically us, the congregation. But the Lord sent a bus of about 60 kids, just so happened to be passing. They was coming from a field trip, just happened to be passing through. And the teacher stopped the bus and saw what we was doing. And she said, what are y'all doing? I said, we having a youth violence conflict resolution seminar. She said, well, we can't stay long, but can you come on the bus and teach the kids? So we went on the bus, we taught the kids, we gave out a whole bunch of pamphlets and flyers and stuff like that, and it ended up working out. So, you know, the Lord sent that. So that was our first initial doing. So the thought behind it was initially just to do something different for the community outside of them just seeing us in the light of just camp or flyer missions or community cleanup, which they've seen us before. And also, we get a bad rap that we don't let people speak. So this opportunity or this program gives people the opportunity to speak. It lets the community speak. And then at the end, we can go and, you know, patch the holes with the word of God.
So again, I want to go back to what's going on in our area. All of us are familiar 958 carjackings in DC alone last year. And understand, when you look at the size of DC, it's a 10 by 10 area, and most people live in an area that is about 4.5 square miles. But we've had almost 3 carjackings a day. That's what's going on up here. 5 children got shot at senior skip day. 2 days ago, 3 more young men got killed in Oxon Hill. So we obviously have a problem with violence in our area. That's why, again, we put this format on, again, not just to talk, but to see what we can do to change the hearts and minds of our people, because violence just doesn't pop out of nowhere. It is an underlying cause as to why our young men, now women, feel the need to express themselves in a manner of violence.
And our movement, first and foremost, is like the captain said, is first and foremost to get ourselves back to righteousness. We are a righteous people, a holy people. We've lost our way, but we're going to get back there, right? And we're going to do it through God's word. But first and foremost, this particular program, if I can speak about it briefly, this program that we started is one of many programs that we do within our organization that Bishop will speak about a little bit later. But this particular program is very near and dear to myself because I grew up doing this right here, what these young men are doing. I was able to make it to the highest level of basketball. I'd be in the gyms early Saturday morning with them, you know, and that was my outlet. But everybody does not have the same ability. Everybody doesn't have the same interests. So this is not the only outlet for our children. It's not just sports. You know, sports is a recreational thing. You know, if I didn't have my grades, I couldn't play sports. That's just how my parents were, right? So this right here is something that we use. It's something that we put ourselves into, but we got young men that want to be engineers. We got young women that want to be doctors, lawyers. Where are their outlets? You understand? And they're going back to the same environment that many of us grew up in, right? Going back to a violent environment. So when they leave the gym, when they put the ball down, when they got to go back into possibly a drug-infested home, possibly a gang-ridden neighborhood, things of that nature. So we need to start having these type of programs and these type of outlets for them, right? The youth violence and conflict resolution. How do we resolve conflict in our community? Because I'll be honest with you, I done left up out some gyms, coach, as you know. I didn't know we was gonna make it home because we was in a rivalry, we was in a rival gym playing against a rival team, and we made a whoop them that night. You understand? And people weren't happy. You know, even that begats more violence. So all these things that we're trying to push our children towards, first and foremost, there has to be a foundation. That foundation is righteousness, and that's why we started this program. And we hope you all enjoy the messages today from local leaders and people that, you know, are in the communities actually putting boots on the ground.
Our solutions are in the Bible. You know, when you read Hosea 4:6, it says, "My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge." We don't understand that the knowledge that we need to guide ourselves, to heal our communities, conflict resolution, everything that we need is found in the Bible. So that's the biggest thing. Like you said, Chicago, North Carolina, Mississippi, wherever it may be, we're across the 4 corners of the earth. We don't understand that our solutions are in the Bible.
I wanted to bring the young man here, but I didn't think he was ready. And so what happened was he had to process that he actually saw his father shoot and kill somebody right in front of his face. And so he also witnessed the police officer come into the house and arresting his father. He also witnessed the ambulance coming and taking their wounded person out of the house. Now imagine what the effect that this is going to this child. So the story gets worse. So the father is incarcerated, and as soon as he goes to Upper Marlboro, where I can do visits on a regular, anytime I wander through the chaplain's office, pastoral visits, well, they wouldn't even let me see him because after he was incarcerated, he became ill. And he got so ill that they had to put him in an isolation cell while he was incarcerated. So now, what do you think happens to the 7-year-old son? He can't even go and talk to his father between a glass because his father is isolated and his father is sick and he can't see his dad. And so every time I see the boy, my heart just goes out. I feel chills come down my back, and y'all gotta forgive me. I have so much compassion for the youth, and I hug him and I just cry in myself because I want to help him. I want to show him a better way.
Well, the Youth Violence Conflict Resolution Seminar, it unifies them because although we give them tangible strategies to de-escalate and resolve their issues and their conflicts, everything goes back to the Bible and notify people to repent, because crime is just sin. In order to lower the crime, to lower the sin, they got to bethink themselves first. So we take them back to their nationality. One of the first things Captain Goliath brought out during the seminar when he began to speak, he said, we got to deal with the elephant in the room. We don't know who we are. We are God's chosen people. We are the Israelites. So remember, Willie Lynch said, if he can keep us away from that substantial historical base, he'll keep us destroyed. It'll spin on his own axis. So in order to resolve the problems in our communities with the violence, missing persons, we must go back to the Bible. Once we love ourselves and love our neighbors, we love ourselves, then that will immediately have an impact and decrease the violence in our communities.
And then I start my day, honestly, with bad news every single day. Every single day. Because I'm the person that's on the radio telling about the stuff that's happening in our community that unfortunately is not great news every single day. So I read it, I write it, and then I say it 10 different times between 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm on the air twice an hour for 2 minutes. And I get to do like 5 stories. And 4 of those stories, 9 times out of 10, are bad news stories. We're not thinking beyond the moment. And that's what I want to impart on you today. Everything has a next moment to it. And what you do in the moment that you're in matters. It really matters. And so you gotta think beyond that next second. That's why I love those skits that were done today by young people, because it was all about thinking of what could happen next. What could happen next? And you have the power to change the narrative.
But she said something about think beyond the moment. That really stuck out, because oftentimes that we get so wrapped up into being angry for that split second. And that correlates with something that Bishop said, which I wish I would have said it then, and it just hit me now. Bishop said, never make long-term decisions based on short emotions. That's what she was saying. So I wish I would have remembered that then. But that's, you think beyond the moment. That's the connection there.
What's coming out here is true. Can we get Deuteronomy 7:6 real quick? It said, changing the mindset. We don't hear this about ourselves, and we don't say this one to another, but this is what God said real quick, because I want to allude to, show what he was alluding to.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
Meaning we're a separate people, watch this.
Unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
Everybody got a special outfit, special pair of shoes that you separate from everything else. The Lord did that with us. Watch this though.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
We don't say that to one another. Just think about it. When you think about the best boxers, think about the best athletes, the best inventor, Elijah McCoy. They are all our people, but we don't tell that to one another. We're not told that. That's why it's important that we do these events, not just today, like Bishop said, and Sean said, we got to do these things every day because our people are battling.
They don't tell us that. And we don't tell each other that all the time. We don't do this enough. We don't do this enough. So when I left Loudoun County, which is the richest county, only 30, we have all this crime in DC and we struggle in PG County. But there's some people in the world that live in Loudoun County don't know none about this. You ain't heard me. They don't know. They don't know. They living their lives while we struggle. Things are laid out, but their mindset is like, oh, we can do it. We can't. And truth of the matter is, it was important to me because I believe and this is what a lot of people are afraid of, when we change our mindset and say, let's get rid of the foolishness. We saw that 4 skits. Let's figure out how to love each other. Let's figure out how to tell the truth about who we are as God's chosen people.
Glory to the Lord. every single thing that we're doing with the Youth Violence Conflict Resolution Seminar is of the Most High. We didn't anticipate it to grow as fast as it grew. You know, we had a vision for what we was hoping that it would be, and you know, leadership gave ideas about what they would like to see from it. But to see where it's starting to grow into, it's all of the Most High, man. Nothing that we anticipated in this regard. And I will say that it's an honor to be a part of it, just to be a part of it, because it's Israel United in Christ. Our leadership has been doing work for many years and have laid the foundation. And now us as young men coming up in the truth, it's our job to help build on that solid foundation by coming up with different programs and different things to help the people. But the one thing I wanted to make sure that we always did is we never compromise our stance as Bible-based movement. We cannot compromise that. The minute we compromise that, this whole thing falls apart. And it becomes words from man and not the words from God.
So, you know, we're looking to continue further events. So this wasn't just the one event, just like a couple of people pointed out. So I was glad that they reverberated that, because it was made, the point was made that we just can't deal with this on a one-time deal, you know. So it is to be understood that this is just the Kickstarter, so to speak. But we're not the kind, we wanted to put out that we're not the group or the organization that will just touch it one time and then go away. You can hear the people they're used to seeing that. And I said, well, we're not that group. Once we get started on something, we're gonna keep hitting it because we're serious about the mission.
Will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense.
Until we acknowledge that we broke God's laws. That's the reason why all this ugliness is happening to us, because God is our Father, and because we did not want to follow what He said, our Father said, okay, you're gonna stay into a particular predicament until you acknowledge your offense and return to me and keep the righteousness that I have outlined in this Bible. But the reason why I bring that up is because there's so many of our people are looking for someone to actually deal with what they're really feeling. Deal with what's really going on in the spirit of our youth. And oftentimes we don't really deal with that. We can't just throw jail at them. We just can't throw curfews at them. I'm not saying that, like I said earlier, these things are needed for the immediate staving off of the violence, but it doesn't deal with the core as to why our children are so out of place. And these children are our future. How could it be that we're not investing in them? We have to do that. When we're off the scene, they're the ones that got to take over. So it's incumbent upon every man. That's the spirit that we have to have. It's incumbent upon us as men to make sure that the next generation come up is going to be better than us. So that's going to take some work. That's going to take some work. And we're looking to work with anybody that have that kind of mentality. So we believe in working with law enforcement, working with community leaders, preachers, whatever. If you're about results, we're about results, let's get it done. Because I'm tired of seeing my people die over foolishness. I'm sick of that. 20 years of seeing people coming to the hospitals bugged out, in handcuffs and chained up in a wheelchair, coming out of prison because they got to get a procedure done, escorting backwards and forwards. It's crazy. And I had conversations with many of them. Some of them were talking about fighting their grandmothers with a hammer, stuff like that. And I said, this cannot be the totality of our people. No way. I know we're better than this. So this is real stuff that we're dealing with. So we're not playing games when we talk. We're serious about what we're talking about. Very, very pleased with the effort that the people made to come down and really at least look for a solution to deal with this situation. So I'm glad I made it. I'm glad I drove long, all through the nights. The GPS sent me through the back roads. Man, that was grueling. Have to dodge deer and all that. But it was worth the trip. So all praise to the Most High.
Donate to us, donate to the movement. You could donate it, you can go to our website, www.israelunite.org, and you can help donate to the initiative, first and foremost, because me and Bishop I was speaking earlier, I'll say this one last thing. It's important that people understand the foundation is the Bible, it's the scriptures. That's the foundation. These men that you see doing these youth violence and conflict resolution seminars, that would not be possible if the Bible had not cleaned us up. We weren't thinking about doing stop the violence rallies and things of that nature when we were in the world, because we was a part of the violence. We were a part of the problem. The only way that we're not able to see through the scope and through the lens of we got a problem in our community is because of the Bible. It shined the light on those issues. And when you're a part of those issues, you can't see clearly of how to clean them up. The Bible gives us a clear vision of how to clean it up. And that's what the youth violence is. So we just ask brothers and sisters to continue to support us, continue to share content, and continue to, donate, what you can.
Okay,
yes, sir.
Thank you, Cap.
All right, thank you. Most High, God bless.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example.